Hello, it's Monday. It's coffee chat time, y'all. So grab you a cuppa and let's get started. Oh, that's good coffee. Chat Monday, and it's a rainy, gray day here. Today, I'm going to talk about adding watercolor to your journal. One of the questions I got, actually it's a two-part question. She wanted to know about journaling on the go and about adding watercolor to your journal, how I got started adding watercolor to my journal pages. This is going to be a two-part video, and then the other part of her question, the journal on the go, I will do next week. So for this, when I originally started adding watercolor, we're going to move a few things. I started out with these Artist Loft watercolors. I also started out with Prismacolor Premier New Pastel color sticks. These will work like watercolor, and you can take the brush and put them on the little stick and it will work like watercolor. I got Prisma watercolor pencils, and I also got Derwent ink tints. These are just Prismacolor pencils. After doing watercolor for a while, I got the Koi watercolors travel kit. I don't have that one. My grandson has that one somewhere in my house. Somewhere. It's here. I don't know where. That's the one he uses. And then I ended up with this Gonzai Tambi watercolor. I really like this one. I still use this one a lot. And you can replace the individual pans. Places like Dick Blick and stuff like that have them. But I know you can find the individual pans. So if you run out of a color, I love these. I still use these. I also got these Psy watercolor brushes, and I got the 12 count of the Zig Clean Color Wheel Brush pens. These are watercolor markers is what they are, essentially. And I use the Zigs. I still use the Zigs. Still use these sometimes. And then I got Jane Davenport's Brights and Neutrals. And right before I got these, I got the Winsor Newton Cotman. The one part's taken out of this. And a few of the colors are out of this because I have the colors, a lot of the colors, even though they're the student grade, I have the colors in this. I also have Daniel Smith watercolors and the Schminko watercolors, some of them, in the next few weeks sometime, probably the end of September or maybe the beginning of October, do a DIY how to make a watercolor travel kit, especially since one of the questions were about journaling on the go. I got this, which still has the watercolors in it, the old watercolors. It's a vintage box, and I want to transform this into a travel palette. I need to sandpaper it and then paint it so that I can do that. So watercolors, like I said, I also, because my daughter gave me these, and I found these at Michael's. Some of the sticks are missing. So, like I said, I started out with the Artist Loft. It's like $5 for this. These are really pretty colors, but they are chalky. And if you're just wanting to put down background and just use some watercolor in your journal pages, this is fine. Just know that they are chalky. I think they work better as backgrounds with baby wipes than anything else. But I did use them for a while, and they do have gorgeous, gorgeous colors. They just are very chalky. If I had to do it all over again, and I was beginning, what would I want somebody to tell me? And I would say if I were starting from the very beginning, like I did back in 2014 at the end of the year with the Fobinichi, when I actually started adding drawing and watercolor and art and stuff to my journals, I would get a Winsor Newton Cotman student grade artist watercolor kit, or I would get a Prang watercolor kit. They have the Prang watercolor kits at Walmart and at Michael's and stuff like that, and those work really well for you to learn how to put watercolor down on paper. I would get a sketchbook of mixed media paper, a cheap one, a cheap sketchbook with watercolor paper in it. And as far as journals go, adding wet media to, Tomoho River paper, the Midori, the Midori insert, or the Midori A5. There's a certain kind of Midori paper. It will try to find it and put a link. But Midori paper handles really well. The Fabriano sketchbook inserts, some of the Moleskine inserts, or the Moleskine notebooks, they can handle light washes. There are some really good Strathmore and Stillman and Burns mixed media softcover sketchbooks and stuff that are out there. Leuchtturm notebooks handle wet media okay. I like Tomoho River paper the most, I think, and watercolor paper. Those are my two favorite papers. I love watercolor paper, and I like mixed media, and sometimes I will put whatever I'm drawing and do it on mixed media paper or watercolor paper, and then cut it out and put it in my journal page. When I very first started, I started with Nanami Paper's 7C's Standard. It is the one with the blank pages. They're kind of cream colored though. I prefer the white pages. And I started adding watercolor. I will leave a link to my first flip through, but I started doing things like this. We were doing DIY house projects. I went to the doctor's office. That's the doctor's office. I had coffee with a friend, and that's me and my face, and they were giving me the shot in my shoulder because I had tendonitis. So I have a few of these, but I originally saw videos about the Hobonichi and the Fobonichi and some traveler notebook journal where people were doing journal with me's, and Little Raven Ink, Miss Vicky B, Anna Brim from Mrs. Brimble's showed some of that. She had a Fobonichi, Miss Vicky B had a Fobonichi, and she did some Hobonichi pages. Courtney from Little Raven Ink was doing daily journal with me in her Hobonichi pages, and I fell in love with those pages. I fell in love with adding art to the journal pages. I had always added all kinds of stuff like receipts and ticket stubs and stuff like that, but I hadn't done art in over 30 years. So adding art to my pages was something new to me. And like I said, if I were starting all over again, I would say get a Winsor Newton Comet travel set. They have the basic colors, or get the Koi watercolor travel set, or any one of the Aquafine. I think De La Rowney has the Aquafine. It's a blue. It's a round tin. My daughter has that one right now. I have that one, but my daughter has that one. She's been practicing watercolor, and just watercolor pencils will work. Find something that's not really expensive and start practicing with that, because watercolor is not like oil or acrylic painting. It's quite different. Watercolor sort of has a mind of its own. You have to learn how to put it on there, and once you can kind of get the hang of doing a light wash and making the color lighter or darker, because you do what's called a glazing, I think is what it's called. You put a layer down, you let it dry, and then you put another layer down, let it dry if you want to go darker. I love watercolor for background stuff in my journal, and I want to text journal, and I want it to be, I don't know, prettier. You can put a watercolor down as background. But that's basically how I started journaling, adding watercolor, not journaling, how I started adding watercolor to my journal pages was I would look up how to draw, let's say, a coffee mug, or how to draw a bowl of fruit, or how to draw a rose, how to draw cartoon figures, how to draw stick people, how to draw cute stick people, how to draw a piece of cake, how to draw a brownie, how to draw a fish, how to draw a shark on YouTube. And the videos would come up, and I would follow along, and I would draw in my sketchbook, and I would draw, and then I would practice. And I started putting those in my journal pages. I would look up pictures on Google and Creative Commons and Google in general, and look up images and find images of different things. I would look up clip art of certain things, like clip art of spaghetti. And then you have a lot of different kinds of pictures in the clip art. They come up in the images of different pictures of spaghetti and clip art. And I would find one that I liked. I would look on the screen, on the monitor, and I would draw it. Sometimes I would print them out and add the actual clip art into my journal pages instead of drawing it. But the more that I drew what I looked at in the clip art, the more I wanted to draw, the better I got at drawing. I find things like clip art and cartoon children's books with illustrations are really good to use as reference for drawing. I love different things like that. I think children's how-to draw books are probably one of the best ways to start or to get back to drawing and things like that. And once you are kind of getting the hang of the drawing thing, it makes it easier to do the watercoloring thing. I did eventually take the drawing class, the course in sketchbook schools. I think that was like $29. It wasn't very expensive. I did take Miss Vicky B's journaling course, which I highly recommend. I need to do a review of it, but I highly recommend her journal course. If you look up Miss Vicky B's YouTube, she has a link for it. I will try to put the link for her website down below. If you are a beginner or intermediate with journaling and adding art to your journal pages, she's a great, her course is great, and it's $39.99 for her journal class. Well worth the price. She has videos on how the different kinds of journaling she does, the different types of journals that she uses. And what I love about Miss Vicky B is that she has a lot of different ways that she journals. She journals in a lot of different kinds of journals, and she's always learning and always growing, and she's always sharing new things. And I love that because I love to learn and I like to try new things, and that really helps me too. But especially if you're a beginner or intermediate. Another thing I'd highly suggest if you want to start adding watercolor to your journal pages is to look at videos of Journal with Me, journal process videos, Journal in a Traveler's Notebook, Hobonichi, Journal with Me's, the Fobonichi flip throughs. A lot of those will give you really good ideas of how people are adding different kinds of art and watercolor and things like that to their journal pages. It really just depends on what you want and what you're doing. I will make this watercolor thing a series if y'all would like. How I've grown and how I've changed. I will show you a beginning to end journal video one, and I'll do that between now and Christmas. I'll make the videos once or twice, maybe once a month or so, if you'd like. I could do more journal series videos if y'all would like. I've already done quite a few, but I can do some more if you just let me know. And like I said, I'll talk about the journal on the go, what I take and my setup for journaling on the go, not sketchbook on the go or urban sketching, but when I actually like go on vacation or go out of town, I go to visit my parents and I want to take my journal and stuff like that, I'll actually show you what I take and how I do that. And I will have a video maybe Friday of me actually adding watercolor. I think Friday I'll do a video of me adding watercolor to the pages, and I'll show you some of the different things that I do when I add watercolor to my pages and what that means if y'all would like. An announcement before I go. I made an announcement today on Patreon. September will be my last month on Patreon. For now. I'm going to take a break from Patreon for a while my dad, like I've said before, my dad has cancer, and it is a matter of when. And now that I have Victor a couple of days during the week in the afternoons, so he started regular school, I have him from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon till like 6 or 7 in the evenings. That's changed my schedule a lot, and I just do not have the time to devote to Patreon the way that it deserves. And so September is going to be my last month on Patreon. So if y'all would like to see, y'all can join in. But after September, I'll be taking a hiatus from Patreon for a while. I may wait and get back on Patreon after the first of the year. But between now and the end of the year, I need a break from Patreon so that I can handle all of this stuff with my family and spend more time with my family. So I just thought I'd let you know, because between now and then I will give everyone a heads up if I'm going to be missing in action for a little bit, because like I said, it's just a matter of when. So on YouTube, I will let you know. On Facebook groups, I will let you know what's going on if something happens and I'm going to be missing for a little bit. But like I said, September is going to be my last month on Patreon. Get a better schedule on YouTube after September. Videos for YouTube for this month for September are going to be 1 or 2 videos a week, sometimes 3. But I'm going to try to get on a better schedule. Some of the videos, if I do 3 videos a week, some of the videos might be a little bit shorter. The coffee chats are usually longer. I'm going to try to do 2 Writer Wednesday videos in September. I'm going to try to do one on the 6th and then on the 20th, because I'm going to start prepping for NaNoWriMo. And I figured if I did 2 videos in September to kind of introductory to prepping, because October is the official Preptober month and I really need to get my ass in gear with the writing, that will be helpful. If I can, do 2 videos in September to kind of get me more towards getting videos every Wednesday again for Writer Wednesday. Slow steps, slow and steady, working on things. But for those of you who are patrons and you are watching my coffee chats, I'm going to miss y'all horribly. I'm going to miss y'all. But I really have to do this for myself and my family. I need a hiatus for a while. I need to spend some time with my family, and I'm going to miss y'all. So this is it for the coffee chat. Like I said, I will do some more videos in relation to this. I have a few more videos that I need to do for the Q&A that I have for YouTube. And I'll see y'all again soon. Bye. Thanks, y'all.